I feel like we are so angry. Us women. We wake up lashing out at the parts of the world that would take it. We think, as women, that we are not angry. We do not hit walls, or curse at other cars, most times. So we think we are better than men. According to a 2000 study. Quite outdated, I know. By the Southwest Missouri State University, men and women are equally angry, but express this anger differently. The study identified that women are better at being forced to contain their anger than men. Since 2000, however, there have been so many things that have changed. For example, TikTok and the ability of anyone to create a YouTube channel. More recent studies such as NBC News Survey Monkey Esquire Online Poll, 2016, support the 2000s findings. The podcast Psychology and Stuff, Why We Get Mad 2021 elaborated with an expert Dr. Smith that angry women get perceived poorly when emotions are shown. One would think the pressure, which I also know exists, to keep it together in public, is heavy. It still bears with me. But I see many other women being free from this. The options to not contain yourself is now many. And while we may not be aggressive in aggressive ways, it may be just as detrimental. TikTok has become our friend maker, exercise guru, therapy group, and psychologist. In a few seconds, some can tell you what's wrong with your life and what you need to do with no responsibility placed on them as an expert. Women have also used the platform and Instagram to share their many views about life and secrets. My husband cheated on me and this is how I left. My husband is lazy. Men suck and this is how. I hit the wall and no longer am a feminist. And the list can go on and on. No matter the perspective, even if justified, one thing is for sure: we are angry birds. In my culture, a bird is usually referred to as a woman to the cool folks of a selected subculture. A man speaking of his girlfriend can refer to her as his bird. A bird can also be a girl who is a 304. Whatever the version, Western society has exposed us as unhinged, uncontrolled, and hateful. Screaming into a phone while we sit in a car after a so-called bad date, or begging the universe for the man of her dreams at 50. We as women are not happy. But what is the source of our anger? We blame men, mostly, and take little responsibility for our trauma or our actions. There are indeed those who have had true pains, where men did hurt them. But they do not go on the internet and spew their real pain. They rather share their story with a YouTuber with a platform who will read it out. So we take those out of the equation. Instead, we go to the angry birds, women who use the internet as a source of comfort and expression without considering the consequence. I have watched these videos, and though they blame men, the message behind many of their videos shows a source of vitriol that men could never be responsible for. In one case, a woman in a panic shows how she went on a date in her 50s and the guy came with a pet that he had to take care of for his daughter. Though a non-pet person herself, she complains about how late he was and how the date went poorly because she cannot do what he is about. Preferences are good and well, but what are you preferring? Are you preferring values or things of value? The problem most women have is that value has two definitions. Definition 1. The regard that something is held to deserve, the importance, worth, or usefulness of something. Definition 2. Principles or standards of behavior, one's judgment of what is important in life. One is about money and how things are perceived, and one is about principles. If I took that situation with the 50-year-old, yes, you don't like his pet and how the pet approached you, how things look, but you missed the principles. He loved his daughter enough to take care of her pet. He was loving enough not to leave the pet at home. Hence, his principles of love and support would outdo the fact that a pet, which is not even his, exists in his life. But this woman, affluent obviously in all her glory, missed a potential love. Women talk about preferences, but the real preference comes in which of the definitions are chosen. Women prefer definition 1. This preference, which ties back into why we are angry, is buttressed by traumas such as absent fathers and unloving mothers, by feminism, by toxic friends insisting misery is company or judging based on definition 1, and selfishness. Nothing I have listed has anything to do with a man. But you may say, why all the sad stories online about men? Chads, tyrants, pookies, and Raya Rays all fall into definition 1. They portray an image. Good-looking, financially irresponsible, a woman is usually easily fooled by the dinners, gifts, and suave. He may not have any principles, as he does not care for her well-being or his family, but he comes across as the "I will give you the moon" type and passes enough money to make it look so. It is only when these men leave due to pregnancies or real wives showing up do women then classify all men as unworthy. And therefore women, being abandoned, are angry. But you may say, what about the wife who complains about her husband on TikTok? This is another type of anger. Idle anger, though she is a housewife, the man provides enough for idleness to set in. Amongst her female group, the wife builds anger as women rarely feed each other realistically in emotion. We latch onto any new trend without thorough thought. Well provided for, what he does is not enough and she gets paranoid. Her paranoia can lead the man to become frustrated. It of course then is up to the man to show his value, definition 2, through putting his foot down, or through divorce. Only a weak man, out of this scenario cheats. While these are a few of the simplistic scenarios, women are angry, but not all justifiably so. And your anger has consequences when you go online. How many women have returned to TikTok crying that their husband left them because they posted about the man, or the husband now is getting threats? One is too many even if it is the minimum. Even without threats, you make your relationship brittle by not going to the person in the relationship with you. Bernice from Canada cannot help you, along with the millions of other followers from around the world on these platforms. Anger is a real-life emotion, so keep it to real life. This is The Theorist.